Here we go. Okay. See, anybody can do this. Okay, so thanks everyone. I'm so excited to have you guys here today with my amazing friend Starr. I met Starr through a group program that I'm in. Some of you know her already. And I'm super excited to have her here today to talk to us about empowering women through their online business journeys, but also talk to us about Facebook group growth and optimization. So Starr, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about who you are, what you do, who you serve, and we'll dive right into it.
Hi, Julie. Thank you so much for having me here inside of your community. It's such a safe place, and I really love what you have going on here. So, my name is Star Cod. I'm a business coach and strategist, and I support online female coaches primarily to create profitable coaching businesses and scale up to 10 and 20K months within their business. I'm also an offline entrepreneur. I have brick and mortar stores as well as a Shopify store. And when COVID hit, we are at home a lot more. And I figured, why not get into coaching and support entrepreneurs and primarily women and knowing that they can have success too? Because I walked away from a 6-figure job in corporate America to start that brick and mortar. And boy, was it scary. But I succeeded by, just persevering, not giving up, doing all the amazing things, marketing and moving forward. So yeah, that's how I got where I'm at today.
That's amazing. And I know, like, because I've seen you grow so much in just the last 6 months. So that's why I'm really excited to hear from you and just have you talk a little bit about your journey and how you've done it thus far.
Thank you. So, yeah, I started coaching. I want to say it was in June when I really started making offers and just really took off. But prior to that, the first thing I did was I decided to create a Facebook community, and that group is Successful Women Entrepreneurs. And I started that group, and I figured, if I'm going to help women, I need to have women to serve. So that's how that group was started. I decided to, start growing the group, and it's now at 61,000 members in probably about a year now, because I did work for 2 months behind the scenes, taking a group coaching program, and I was also building that community and just kind of getting my systems in place. So yeah, it's been so much fun. It's been very interesting and fast paced, to say the least.
That's so amazing. And like, I think that there's something to be said about having communities now, like especially in 2021. I think we all crave that community. Since a lot of us are still in lockdown, or a lot of us are, have to work from home and be creative with our online businesses. And so a lot of us crave that community and being able to talk to like-minded people who are also doing what we're trying to do and achieve the things that we want to achieve.
Absolutely, Julie. So for me, being in a community has been amazing. Starting a community has been great. I've met so many amazing people, who I've been able to support, who have been able to support me and develop friendships, even when I felt like, I'm now this entrepreneur and this mom, I don't have time for friends. I've actually gained friends in the online space too, which are women who can actually relate to, what I'm doing or what I'm going through, and the same for them. So that's been really, really interesting. But I think in growing your business, Facebook groups is one of the fastest ways that you can do that for free organic traffic. Now, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on Facebook ads for my other business. And it is a huge investment, and you could be bringing in leads to this business that may not even convert, right? So there's a lot that goes into ad spend. Having a community is lead generation on autopilot for free. So I think it's very important for people who own businesses and entrepreneurs now to really consider having their own community for, obviously, like the reasons we mentioned, networking, but also scalability, being able to scale their business and get sales.
I agree. I completely agree. And I think that it's also the perfect way for, and we all hear it in business, right? We're obviously in business because we want to earn an income doing what we love doing. And at the end of the day, money's not everything, but it's up there with oxygen, right? And so, right? Like if we want to achieve, like, make our dreams become reality, we need money to make that happen. But also, a lot of us do this because we want to support our families as well, or help support our families, right? Because
Yep.
we're in 2021, we live in a society now that most of us need two incomes to make things come, to make things work, right?
Yep.
And so I think that getting people to know you, like you, trust you is just so easy to do in when you're growing a Facebook community, or a community. Instagram works too, but today we're specifically talking about Facebook and Facebook groups. So tell me what maybe, what I think, when before I started my Facebook group, the fear of, well, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to contribute to the community? Or, we get stuck in our heads about the things that we think that we don't have enough to share or show up for this Facebook community. Do you have any tips on how to ease our way into it?
Yeah, absolutely, Julie. So I think that that is a struggle that many entrepreneurs in the online space feel. It's like, if I start this group, number one, how much time is it going to take away from me and my business and my life? And second, what do I have to bring? So the first thing I want to address is, running a Facebook group is not that difficult. I mean, I'm at 61,000 members, and now I do have moderators who support me, and women, and I mean, depending on your business, maybe men as well. But for me, I have women who volunteer their time to support in facilitating that community, which is amazing. But even when I just started, it was just me by myself. You can pre-schedule content. So you can think about, what is your group going to want to engage with? What type of content would they like to see? So I have daily posts that go out every single week, which are set up on autopilot. So you can just pre-schedule them, send them out. There's even an app that I currently don't use, but it's called Recur Posts, where it'll just repeat the same post every Monday. So that allows the community to, number one, stay engaged through those engagement pieces. So that kind of takes care of your like daily stuff. The other recommendation is just going live once per week. So if you have a coaching program or a consulting business or any sort of business like that, you can just kind of like assess what are the core pillars that you support people in out of your containers. And usually that's like 3 to 6 pillars. And so every month you can take one pillar and like break that down. Like if you help people with lead generation, for example, what are the strategies that they would have to do? You can break that down into 4 subtopics, and every week just go live on that topic. You can do tech tutorials if you're afraid to like really just go in on life. There's a lot of things you can do, and you can also do interviews like you're doing, Julie. So I do recommend to my clients, like if you're afraid to go live, do an interview, because you're not really the one bringing the knowledge that day. They are, but you're still seen as the authority because you're facilitating the interview and you are the owner. So those are like really easy ways to like get the traction needed inside of the group.
And that's what I did. And I absolutely love doing interviews, because it's like you bring two great minds together. And at the same time, you're also, it's an opportunity for people to get to know another entrepreneur. And it's just like an all around goodness, right? But what I love about it, and I tease because people ask, like this week I was talking to someone about podcast, and I said, this is sort of like my podcast, right?
Yeah.
It's like having the guest interviews. Plus, I love bringing content that I'm not an expert on to the table, into my group, because it's relevant to the community of amazing female entrepreneurs in my group who want to grow their business, build and grow their business, right? So I make sure that the content is appropriate for my niche or the community that I'm growing, and I can bring to the table something that I'm maybe not an expert on, or even if I was an expert on, it's also amazing to have another point of view, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And so, in your experience, like what has been the easiest way for you? Like you got to 60,000 members in your Facebook group in like a year, and that's like it's a crazy good amount of time to grow exponentially a Facebook group. Do you have any tips for us to grow our groups to that kind of a level without,
Yeah.
because I'm sure that there's the people like maybe not on, like I'm recording, so maybe in the for future watchers, they'll be asking, how do you even do that?
Well, yes, Julie. The first thing is you definitely have to hit the Facebook algorithm. So I have not run any paid ads to my group. Everything that I've done has been pure organic. And Facebook is literally giving me free traffic every single day. So every day I can get anywhere between, 150 to 300 members requesting to join my group. And it's literally Facebook recommending my group to people. And I'm assuming it's thousands of people a day if I'm getting 300 requests on some days. So one of the things is, you have to drive your own traffic to the Facebook group first and foremost. So
Of
that's
course.
like, you have to do that in the beginning, and Facebook will acknowledge that and see that. The second thing is you have to have a highly engaged community. And that's what I did when I talked about having like a specific daily post where, people can engage with the content. Facebook sees that, okay, her group is growing and it's engaged. This is something exciting. And also, for full transparency, my topic is also a very popular topic. So I think it's easy, like with women entrepreneurs, like people are searching for that quite a bit when joining communities. So if you have a topic that maybe is not as popular, you may not get to that level, but you can still hit the algorithm and you can still be getting recommended to people every day and having leads come into the business every day, which is so important. So as you know, you mentioned that I had a second group because that's more of my ideal audience. So I'm passively also growing that community as we speak. And so what I want to say is like, don't look at the 60,000. I want you guys just really focused on building a group that you continue to grow on any level. Not to give up because you feel like, well, people are not engaging or responding. When the group is at 500 or even 1,000, sometimes it's still not going to be as active. And that's when I see women try to give up on their groups. No, you're just breaking that ceiling at that point. So keep going, keep growing the group. And yeah, I mean, it's your way to be able to come forward and have free traffic to sell to.
I love that. And I'm happy that you talked about that it's not the size of the group that matters, but it's the quality, because sometimes we get tripped up on numbers, right?
Yeah.
Like our Instagram following or our Facebook likes or whatever. We get so, oh, I got to get more followers. I got to get more followers. Yes, we do need to get in front of new people consistently if we want to grow our businesses, but most importantly, we want quality over quantity. So I'm happy that you talked about that and that you have your own other little group, and I'm part of it. I will share the groups with you guys because Starr is incredible. She shares so much. She's definitely an overgiver in her knowledge. And so, but sometimes what the next thing I wanted to bring up was selling to our community, right? Like sometimes we're like, oh, I don't want to be salesy, or I don't want to, or sometimes we don't know how or how to start or where to start. But what I think is important to remember that we're in this business to make money. We have to be in love with selling, right? And also people expect us to sell to them. So do you have any tips on how to overcome that fear of selling our stuff, which people, by the way, are wanting to buy from us?
Yeah. So, one thing I want to state for the record, selling is serving. If you have a solution for someone and they are in a situation and they are in dire need of something and you can help them fix the problem, why would you not support them? So, I want to state that. And some of it is fear, Julie, but a lot of it is mindset too, like you were saying. I don't want to be salesy. This is your community. You can sell every day. And this is what I tell my clients. So if you have a Facebook community, especially if you're a coach, a consultant, or a service based provider, you should be selling at least once a month in your community. But again, you can sell daily. And so one of the things you can do is you can go live every week in your group just to provide value. In one week, you sell, or you can sell every single week at the end of that live. You can do like a 30-day challenge for yourself where you go live every day. That's going to help you boost up your confidence around being on camera and asking for the sale. And selling, you don't necessarily have to sell a product per se. You can invite people to opt into a freebie. You can invite people to opt into your challenge. And so maybe not necessarily specifically selling them into one of your programs, but that'll get you used to asking for something. But again, like I feel like you guys should be selling, and just doing it is the only way that you're going to overcome that. So one other suggestion or quick tip is you can have a private Facebook group with no one in it but yourself, and you can practice going live inside of that community, practice your script, practice how you're going to wrap the end of that up. And remember, just give value and then ask for the sale.
I love that. And it's also, because we want to serve as well, right? Like we don't want to just sell, sell, sell. I mean, we're not Nike. And but but if we serve and we give the goods, and people, they're gonna learn that they can trust us. And you talked about getting them onto our email list through via lead magnets and freebies and that stuff. And if we create our lead magnets and our freebies on purpose and give them quick wins, they're going to already start to trust us. So they're going to learn to know that, they can buy from us and confidently, and that, that our offer or our service or our digital product, whatever it is that we're selling, is going to probably help them fix that problem that they're looking to solve.
Exactly.
Good. I love it. Is there anything else? Like that was so much good information. And I think that, they were such good points that I think that it's, I'm just trying to think now if there's anything else that we can talk about, in terms of, maybe what we can, like I know you said you post in your group every day of the week. And so, and I do this too. But I think that it's important to also talk about those posts that are maybe not business related, right?
Yeah. So what we do is those posts, I mean, you can consider them to be business related. Some of them are like follow for follow. So again, it's going to be based on your niche. I have an entrepreneurship group, so obviously like my posts are naturally going to be more geared towards business, but anything to get them talking to each other is what you want to be doing inside the group. And the other thing is you yourself need to be showing up outside. I mean, that was just like an easy way for me to tell you how you can map some content out to keep the group engaged. But you need to be pushing out value posts, which are going to be educational content. Those could be lives. You can then take that same live and turn it into a written post. You want to do lifestyle posts as well, so people can see you as the authority. Like, what is it? I'm an amazing photographer, for example. Do you want to have this beautiful brand? So they're seeing the behind the scenes, like, oh my God, her brand is so beautiful. Or, I have this amazing vehicle that I was able to purchase. And some people don't like to talk about the money aspects, but if you're in the money niche, this is what people want. So you're showing that lifestyle in terms of like what you've been able to achieve. But then the other side of the lifestyle is like my personal life, my children, my family, going on outings. So people get to see the real side of you as well. And it's not just always you and your business, whatever niche that could be. And then again, like those engagement posts that we talk about. So you really want to be mixing it up with like value. And then the last important type of post that you should be dropping is social proof or results. So any results that you've gotten for your clients or yourself. If you sell products, for example, I sell hair extensions, I might want to show my hair before and after. If you're a weight loss coach, before and after photos of yourself or your clients. So it doesn't have to be you, it could be your downline, your team, or if you have no results and you're just getting started, then you can offer a free strategy call to 5 to 10 people, help them with a small tangible result, and in exchange for that, ask for a testimonial. So what you're doing here is you're setting yourself up as that authority figure. Like you had mentioned, people need to have that know, like, and trust factor. And that's why it's important to have a community. So if you guys just saw me floating around on Facebook, you might not purchase from me, but now you're like, oh, Starr is legit, because there is a lot of scamming on Facebook. And I want to warn you guys of this too. But you have that community. People see you constantly showing up. They see your results. They see your life. They know you're a real person. They're more inclined to establish a rapport and a relationship with you and potentially purchase.
Yes. And it's also part of building our brand too, right? Like, Star, I think that, the more people see us, the more they get to know us, and sharing those things like, maybe, your outings or your children. And by the way, we can, what you share is totally up to you. If you choose not to share pictures of your family, that's totally okay. It could be like, I love sharing my dogs, right? But the point is that it just makes you're building a brand, and people, when you're sharing those little things, people, it's more relatable, like you're a real person and we have real struggles. And so, for example, you're talking to me about, or talking to us about, showing up live once a week, and that's something that I've been hesitant to do because I get into my head and I struggle with content, and then I just kind of like, I'll do it next month, right? But I know that it's something that I want to start doing. And so I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to plan out like a month in advance. I'm going to plan out each week what I'm going to talk about live, whether it's, a book review, or like it could be anything really. Like, you gave some great suggestions. And so just to show up live, to get my community to get to know me a bit better at that. Because you know what, I actually, this week I got a message. Someone wanted to work with me one-on-one. And you know what they said when it says, why do you want to work with Julie? And they said, because you show up live and you look like you would be so much fun to work with. And
Wow.
it sounds like you would, you love helping people. So that's just a power of what people see when you show up live. So I think that if we can just have 30 seconds of courage, maybe plan your content out ahead of time so that on the day of, you know what you're going to talk about, and start with topics that are easy for you to talk about, right? Like, to show up in your group, turn it on, and you can just go on and on and on, like us today, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that is important. And I love how your strategy about sharing different types of posts to get the engagement going. And I think that that's the key to having a successful Facebook group, is that it's not always about what you sell, but it's also, about teaching and giving, but also fun, right? Because it's a community that we want to feel like we belong. And so sharing, like in my group, I know I love sharing, like today I found this, was it today or yesterday? I saw this meme on Facebook about how you fold your towels.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
thought,
I saw that.
I'm like, I need to share this with the group because they're going to love it, right? But that's the kind of content that gets engagement.
Yeah.
People love commenting on posts like that, and that gets engagement on your posts, which means algorithm, which means Facebook is going to push out some of your other content. So it's all part of the game, right?
Definitely. I love that example that you shared about the towels. And so it doesn't have to even be about you or business if you're in the business niche, of course, but it can just be something that is going to be interesting and people are like, okay, it's a break for them, right? But then Facebook, though, is like, okay, her group is so engaged. So those types of posts, like you'll see people do like Coke versus Pepsi, iPhone versus Android. And it's to really get the engagement going, to get people like engaging inside of that community. So that was an awesome share that you did there in your group, Julie.
Thank you, thank you. But and maybe you do this too, Star, but do you ever post questions that are fun, but also market research at the same time?
I think I have done some of those, but
Yeah,
that's also a really good idea. Something I probably need to do more of.
yes. Like
Yeah,
polls, for example, it could be a poll, or it could be like a question, or you can even just like drop an emoji if you're this, or this.
yeah.
Those are just some examples of posts that can get some engagement. But I love sometimes just asking a question that's kind of related to business, but not really. I can't think of one right now, but then it's market research at the same time, right?
Yes, totally.
Yeah. Speaking of market research, I know that in growing our groups, we can. I mean, it's recommended, and as a business owner, I think we should all do. But ask those. We have an opportunity to ask people that want to join our group 3 questions. Do you have tips on what kind of questions that we should ask our people coming in, and use those questions to our best to our benefit?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can definitely ask them what they're looking to learn. If you're struggling to create content for your group, every day people are going to be coming in answering that question, and then you can take those questions and there you go. You have content for the whole week just based on those. So that's number one. Number two, you can collect email addresses, which many people do by offering a freebie with those questions or offering to book a call with you. So definitely be leveraging those questions to build your email list. I mean, I've gotten my email list to, I think, 16ish or 18,000. I think it's about 16,000 right now, just by leveraging those questions. So it's a great list builder.
It is. I do the same thing, and most, like, I would say probably 9%, 90% of the people who join my group give me their email address.
That's amazing.
I mean, sometimes they're already on my email list because that's where they came from,
Yeah. Well,
right?
that's because you
And
work on list building, Julie. You're an expert in that area too. So
yeah, and I encourage you guys, like, if you have a Facebook group and you utilize those 3 questions, um, if you have any kind of lead magnets, or if you're sending out weekly or monthly emails, or if when someone downloads your freebie or anything like that, invite them to your group at every opportunity and chance you have, because they will come.
yes.
Yeah. And when we were first in the conversation, you said that sometimes we get at that plateau and it seems like there's not too much going on in our groups. Any tips on how to overcome those little voices in our heads that will help us to, keep going? Because sometimes it's just Facebook doing Facebook stuff, right? And sometimes they're funny about it.
Yeah.
Right. And so just maybe some tips for mindset, and this maybe goes into more of that, inspiring and empowering female entrepreneurs to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it can be definitely tough in business with situations like that where we feel like giving up because something's not moving forward fast enough the way that we want it to be. But I'm also a very practical coach. So when I coach my clients on, growing their communities, what I say is like schedule a specific time of day that you're going to be focusing on these group growth activities, whatever they may consist of. And every day, this is what you're going to be working on. We're not looking at what's happening in the group. We're not doing any of that. We're dialed in for 60 to 90 days. It's a non-negotiable for that to be on your calendar. So I know that's not really mindset work per se, but scheduling that in so that you don't give up and you're not really looking at it. You just know this is what I have to do, because there are going to be points where you kind of feel like, okay, this is not growing right now, or members are not joining or even engaging. And I know, like, for that to happen, you have to hit a certain number. So you have to keep going. I'm so sorry, going forward. And not only that, even if you get 1 to 3 members, how much would you spend on that in Facebook ads? You should be thankful and grateful that you've gotten 1 to 3 members coming into the community that specific day, even if it wasn't, 10 or 20. So
Mhm.
that's what I would say about that.
That's good. That's really good. Because, bottom line with everything, Facebook group, business, lead generation, anything, if I've learned anything in the last little while, is that it's working.
Yeah.
Even if you can't see it right now, it's working. And we have to keep on doing the things because, also there could be a lag, right? Like, so for example, if we've been working on our mindset and embodying that CEO that we want to become, knowing that it's kind of following us a few steps behind, right? All of the things that we're doing today may not show results today or tomorrow or even in a week or two, but it's coming, it's behind us, it's following us, and it's things are going to start materializing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I tell women is like, be that CEO in your business. don't give up. Set time, set a schedule for yourself. I really heavily, strongly believe in time blocking, time block what you're going to be doing in your business. Talk to your family members and let them know, your spouse, your children, I'm working during these hours and it is what it is. They have to respect that you're in business. Setting up office space in a specific part of your home where you're not distracted, outside of your bedroom. And sometimes we may not have that luxury, but if you do, find a little spot that's your spot for working. So that's some of the tips that I have around just like starting out as an entrepreneur and really being able to stay focused. And again, just not giving up. So I'm able to come online and say, oh, I have this 7-figure business. That did not happen overnight. And I want to be very clear about that. It took me years to get to that point. So just not giving up, being invested. And then the other thing is make sure that you're in a niche or that you're selling a product that's really going to make money. So there are some people who are passionate about specific things that may not be what people are willing to spend their money on right now. So maybe even evaluating your business, what you're currently doing, and seeing if you might need to make a pivot or get into a different type of business.
I love that. I love that. But also it's important to remember that, if it didn't work the first time, doesn't mean it's not going to work the second
Oh
time,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
And I have a friend that same thing. She launched something a couple of months ago, no bite. She launched it again and she signed up a bunch of people. So sometimes it's timing, sometimes it's maybe you don't have the right people in your community to
mhm,
buy that thing. So there's a lot of things that I think we can look at when we start dissecting the reason why something may or may not have worked.
yeah. That is so
But
true. And I didn't mean to confuse the audience, Julie, because I would say don't give up. But sometimes, I do see people who are in niches that are like questionable.
yes,
So that's the only reason I want to raise that.
yeah,
Or, you're selling like a $5 product, and are you really going to be able to sell enough of that to make it?
exactly.
So I like to bring that to people's attention for that
Yes,
reason.
that could be a whole nother training. But I'm so happy that we had the conversation about community and Facebook groups and the little things that we can do every day to grow our community, to get people to like, love, to know, like, trust, and then buy from us, right?
Yes.
Right. Well, thank you so much for all of your tips and tricks and your expertise. Starr, can you tell us where we can find you and how we can work with you for anybody that is maybe interested in learning more about you?
Thank you so much. Well, I do have my community, Successful Women Entrepreneurs. You can feel free to check me out there, watch some of my trainings, or you can go to my website, starcod.com. And usually, whatever I'm currently promoting at that time is what you'll see available on that website. Or you can also feel free to send me a personal DM, send me a personal message. My inbox is open. Thank you so much, Julie.
You're welcome. And guys, for anybody who's watching right now, I will share all of these details with you. You guys know that I love sharing my business besties information. So I will share everything when I post the replay. And I will also communicate with you guys her group and her page and her website and all of that good stuff where you can find Starr on social. So thanks again for being with us, Starr, today. It was so lovely having a conversation with you. And I'm just so blessed and grateful to have you in my circle.
Thank you, Julie. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.